Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hindu Explained series. I'm Kushagra Goel and I hope all of you had a very happy Christmas with all your family members and the new year is upon us, but before that a lot of news for you all to understand, right? So two legacy issues that have cropped up for us is one is Brexit, the other is the Permanent Court of Arbitration cases. Okay, so first I'll address the Permanent Court of Arbitration case. Okay, see, most of the nature of that dispute is with regards to very specific areas of legislation. Okay, one, arbitration; second, corporate governance; third, corporate structuring; and fourth, taxation. Okay, all these four subjects that I enlisted here are those that are taught at an advanced stage of law schools. Okay, so therefore to presume that all of this would be something that would be asked from the point of view of legal knowledge is unreasonable, because see, you all are CLAT aspirants, not even law students as of now. Okay, therefore what becomes more important for us is just to know a little bit overview of the issue in general. Okay, rather than addressing all the legal points on which the court case was actually determined, right? So on that regard, I've already told you that the cases were decided by the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which is based at The Hague. Then the arbitration proceeding is something that both the parties decide on their own. Okay, so with regards to that, anything more that becomes relevant for you all from a general knowledge perspective, I will address it. Okay, explaining the entire dispute is a very legal concept. Okay, therefore to cover it under current affairs would be unjustified to the topic, plus also unjust on you all as students who are preparing to become law students, right? Those are topics that are taught at law school in third year, fourth year onwards, right? So therefore to teach them now from my side would be unreasonable, right? Secondly, with regards to Brexit, so the details of the trade deal of Brexit are flowing in. Okay, the deal was signed yesterday. It takes time to actually understand 2000 pages of trade document, what it actually means, right? Therefore, we'll be waiting a little on that information. Okay, now moving on with the doubts from yesterday. So two economic doubts that students had. One was what is a meaning of the counter cyclical fiscal measures. Counter cyclical fiscal measures are those measures that the government or the central bank takes to induce growth in the economy. Okay, so those are measures for that regard. Now the second question that a lot of students had is what is a fiscal package? Okay, so fiscal package is a methodology or a scheme. So for example, when we had talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat 3.0 scheme, or when we had talked about the production linked scheme, both of them are part of fiscal measures. Today on the front page, you will see Prime Minister Narendra Modi disbursing the PM Kisan's installment fee. So that is also a fiscal measure to introduce growth in the agricultural sector. Okay, so these measures that the government takes or the central bank takes are part of counter cyclical fiscal measures, which are intended to increase growth in the economy. Okay, so that those are two doubts that I got. A suggestion for you all who put in doubts. Okay, now if there are certain things that you are not able to understand, I suggest you all to put the headline from which you are pointing out. A lot of you pick up words or certain paragraph for me to explain, but now without like really knowing from what headline, what topic it is, it becomes difficult to explain it for you all. Okay, so I suggest that whenever you put in your doubts, also point out from what place you are picking it. Even if not the headline, put it from the section of the newspaper. If it is an editorial, if it is a general news, if it is any other doubt that you are asking. Okay, so that just makes my task a little easier, plus also makes it better for me to explain you all under what context certain things were said or mean. Okay, now with that note, let's move on with today's newspaper. So on the front page, we see a headline: dry run for vaccine rollout in 4 states in next week. Okay, so December 28, 29. What does dry run mean? Dry run is actually not using COVID vaccines, but to check the apparatus of vaccine rollout. Okay, So India has not yet approved any vaccines. Therefore, but before that, we need to see whether our system is foolproof, whether our cold storage facilities are there, the health professionals have actually understood the methodology of storing them, preserving them, introducing those vaccines, how to use them, disposal. If, for example, during the dry run there is any problem, then you can fix the system, right? Where supply shortage, how do you determine if a batch of vaccines is incorrect, of its sound is unsealed? So all those things will be checked by the government on December 28 and 29. Okay. On the left hand side, farmer unions refute PM's charge of changing demands. Okay, so this is between the Prime Minister reaching out to the farmers, but also telling them, see, be reasonable about what you are asking, and also scoring political brownie points because elections are there in West Bengal and Kerala. So he also put in questions for those governments and why farmers there aren't protesting. The farmers, on the other hand, then responded by one stating that Kerala government has the highest number of procurement under the state quota, and therefore it is unreasonable to say that farmers there are not protesting. It's just that their voice, the distance between Kerala to Delhi is too far. Nevertheless, that is political news for us. Okay. Then apart from that, on the left hand side there is a headline, no large scale Bangladeshi ingress, BSF and BGF, country's GDP growth behind people not entering India legally. So it means that, see, it is a confirmation that the border security force and border guards, Bangladesh, stated that, see, there is no widespread the presumption, the narrative that is there, that a lot of people illegally enter the border of India from Bangladesh, that is not actually happening. The perception of large scale immigration from Bangladesh into India is not based on fact. The frontier forces of two countries have said while deciding to ramp up patrolling to check cross border crimes. Okay, so this is not a fact, right? and they have also given the number of people, but that is, see, just to tell us that, see, all these perceptions that political parties keep making to please one voter blocks or other, okay, on that basis, but sometimes those are not really based on real facts. Okay. Then there is one of the youngest mayor of Thiruvananthapuram is about to become Arya Ranchandran, a student of 21-year-old, is about to become the mayor of Thiruvananthapuram. She is an elected ward member from the Communist Party of India, Marxist. Okay. Apart from that, on the national news, there is not much relevant news for us from an academic point of view. Most of it is updates on, for example, COVID cases receding, then pollution being there, then this news, this headline, governor not sending bills for presidential assets. So certain bills in the House, state legislature are required for approval from the president. Governor has the right of discretion to reserve them. Now, Chief Minister of Rajasthan has stated that the bills to negate the Farm Bill amendments are pending with the governor, and he has not yet sent them for presidential assent. Okay. Moving on, for example, NMMC preparing priority lists. So all of this is preparation for the COVID vaccination program actually taking place. Pictures from different places celebrating Christmas with social distancing or recognizing efforts. Now here is another news that is also relevant for you all. IISER scientists identify the gene that greens plants. So we all know chlorophyll and the process photosynthesis. So but within that there is a gene, right? For example, now the scientists at IISER Bhopal, Dr. Gaurav Datta and Nikhil Job at the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research have found out what is that gene, okay, and they have named the gene BBX11. Okay, so that is the name of the gene. This is yet to be peer reviewed by other scientists. So we couple of days ago I had explained you peer review process, right? That if you come up with a discovery or a scientific invention, it is testified and cross checked by people of your same field. So that peer review is now pending. Okay. Now moving on to the editorial front. The main editorial is about Article 356 written by Dr. Faizan Mustafa, who is the Vice Chancellor of Nalsar University, one of the top law colleges of the country. He is a constitutional luminary I was fortunate enough to be taught by him in his class, and he is a constitutional expert uh, of India in general. So therefore, this is an article that we will discuss in depth. Okay. On the left hand side, we have the editorial recharging DTH. So the direct to home services, yesterday we talked about the policy change, how 100% FDI has been permitted. So this is telling us how the DTH companies are under pressure now from over the top platforms and internet in general, and therefore this liberalization is something that is much needed. The second thing that this editorial also talks about is a new tariff order. So last year, TRAI, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, changed the proceeding of how DTH providers can charge or create packages. Okay, so with that, it restricted the amount of money or revenue that DTH companies can generate. So that has been challenged, which is pending before the Supreme Court. So we'll have to wait for that. Okay. Then on the left hand side, limits of sovereignty, Britain averted a no deal Brexit, which would have been catastrophic for all. So this is again analysis of how Britain has averted a no deal Brexit in general, that a trade deal has been put in place which will ensure certain pros, certain cons. In general, Britain's GDP will lose 4% of it itself because of staying out of the European Union. It was a and certain measures, middle grounds that they have reached, which have been created. For example, buffer zone for fishing for 5 years, no predatory policies United Kingdom can create to put European Union at a disadvantage. Okay, so all those things are discussed here, not much academic point of view for us. Okay, on the left hand side is another news about the fallout of keying the wrong labor code. So this is again criticism of the labor codes, while also understanding that India labor law needs to be rationalized. Okay, so when you study labor law in law schools, you will come across that it is complicated in India to start or govern the labor force. Okay, there are multiple laws now. 29 central laws have been put under 4 labor codes. Okay, but the problems with jurisdiction of the state and the central government still exist. Okay, now all of that aside, in this article there is not much for us from an academic point of view. Okay, therefore what it actually just tells us that under the garb, something of a theme that we have been discussing about labor laws, that under the garb of labor reforms, it is actually diluting labor rights and making India more and more like China. But really the growth of India lies in being distinct from China with regards to its labor laws. Okay, so the theme of this editorial is on the same front. Okay, then on the left hand side of the op-ed, which is a ground zero report, okay, which is again from the Wistron factory in Bangalore, for which this incident talks about in the first page. Okay, so you can go through this entire report and realize the travesty and troubles of the workers at the factory and how they were not paid. Okay, so now let's move on to other news. On the other front again, Kerala government not for tussle with governor, because the Kerala government had asked the governor to convene a separate assembly session for a special day to revoke the effects of the new farm bills, but the governor had not given assent to that. Okay. Secondly, the first set of data from Chandrayaan-2 mission has been released by ISRO. The mission was launched on July 22nd, 2019. It was planned along with the orbiter. There was planned soft landing, which ISRO was unable to do. The mission data is yet to be peer reviewed. Okay, so all this data is from the orbiter about different things. So once that is done, we'll get to know more of what discoveries Chandrayaan-2's orbiter has made. It will revolve the moon for another 6 years. Okay. Then on the national front, again more about the farmer protest in general. Okay, then on the page number 10, there is another news about military equipment procurement. Okay, so the deal for KA-226T helicopters. Okay, what category are they? Light advanced light helicopters. Okay, so this is a deal that is pending with the approval of the Ministry of Defence. A waiver is sought now, so that there is there are two themes in this article. Okay, one is that the ministry wants localization and construction and manufacturing of these helicopters in India, but the import unit of this helicopter is as high as 70%. Okay, what does that mean? That means that the equipment or the parts that are used in production of this helicopter need to be imported. So it doesn't make sense to import the parts and then assemble them in India. And you cannot create those components locally. So the Defense Ministry has sought a waiver from that. The second theme that this article is talking about is the dire operational capability of the Indian Armed Forces. So Indian Armed Forces has two kinds of helicopters, which is Chinook and Chetak. Okay, both of them, the army in this article is telling us that they are 30 to 50 years old, and they are now suffering from operational capability, that because they are so old and cannot fly in different conditions, the army is unable to do the things it wants to do, and therefore it is paramount that this deal goes through for Ka-226 helicopters. Okay, it's just something not yet been purchased, therefore I'm not doing an in-depth analysis of it, but just explaining you here. Okay, now let's move on to other news. On the left hand side again there is a passing away of another poet. We'll be talking about him in in-depth analysis. Okay, then on the international front again, EU envoys assess post, so assessment of the Brexit deal is going on the left hand side. The Nepal crisis is ongoing. Okay, now apart from that, there is nothing new updates for us from the international front. Israeli jets fly over Beirut, blast reports in Syria. Unconfirmed reports of firing by Israel in Beirut, which is in Lebanon, and in Syria. Okay, and then Donald Trump losing more lawsuits against voter fraud now in Wisconsin state. Okay, on the economic front again, nothing of relevance for us apart from this news, which is Russia backs increase in oil output by OPEC plus from February onward. So this is that now oil prices have stabilized. The manufacturing countries of who produce oil believe that the price of oil at $50 is something that is optimum for profit in general. Okay, in 2013, just before the 2014 general elections, price of petrol had hit $120 to $130 per barrel, something we had discussed from a data point perspective. Okay, another news that is there is about 9 in 10 employees in India ready for long term work from home remote. Okay, that people are now willing to change their work cycle and prefer to work from home in general. Okay, the Boxing Day test is about to begin today, and apart from that, on the sporting front, nothing new. Okay, now let's dive in. The first news is sadly the passing away of Shamsur Rahman Farooqui. Okay, he was a Urdu poet and a Padma Shri awardee. When was he awarded Padma Shri? He was awarded Padma Shri in 2006. Another award that he was awarded was the Saraswati Samman in 1996. It is given by the Birla Foundation. Okay. Now, what was he given the award for? His creation was Sher Shor Angez. Okay. That was a 4-volume work on a poet of 18th century known as Mir Taqi Mir. Okay. The reason why I am discussing this part in depth is because Mir Taqi Mir is also known as Khudae Sakhan or gods of poet. Okay, therefore this work of him becomes relevant in news. This is a heading for person in news. So Shamsur Rahman Farooqui passed away. An anecdote about him has also been shared that in 1950s he appeared for the interview of Union Public Service Commission. Okay, and the Republic Day parade was about to happen. So at the beginning of the interview he was asked, will you be staying back in Delhi to attend the Republic Day parade? His reply was that no, and the reason was that I don't believe in such tamasha. He was given 0 in the interview, but that was the kind of person he was. Poets, as you know, are outspoken, they have their own understanding in general, and these are things that make them stand apart from us who don't create any poetic or literature. Okay, so this is the awards, 2 things that he was awarded. Urdu poet. His creations not much so relevance. One creation is pointed out in the article, which is a mammoth novel, Ke Chand Te Sare Asman, the mirror of beauty. Okay, that is how it is translated. This work becomes important because it was on Mir Taki Mir, who was given the, who is known by the name of Khudae Sakhan, or Sherev Shor Angez was his work, okay, for which he was given the Saraswati Samman. Okay, now we'll move on to the news on the main editorial. Okay, so article 356 is the one where, on grounds of breakdown of constitutional machinery, the president can precedent rule can be invoked in a particular state, right? So this article by Sir Faizan Mustafa, he tells us the legislative history of article 356 from halfway. So he tells us how, what this article means. Then he points out one contentious thing in the article, which is the word otherwise. Okay, so first let's discuss the legislative history. So behind the inclusion, he highlights no liberal democratic constitution in the world has a provision such as article 356 that gives the central government the power to dismiss a democratically elected state government, except for the constitution of Pakistan. So India and Pakistan are the only two democracies where a democratically elected government can be dismissed by the president. Okay, so this power is unique to our constitution and the constitution of Pakistan. One surprising element of this is, during the freedom struggle, there was consensus, and from the Government of India Act, there was a section which was there, section 93, and there was vehement protest against it, and it was never implemented. That article was similar to article 356, wherein the Governor General or the Viceroy could remove democratically elected governments. Okay, remember 1939, 1935, the process of elections and state legislature had begun in British India. Okay, so in light of that, but there are different viewpoints about it. Govind Vallabh Pant and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, they thought that, see, this article, once it is, let it be there, nevertheless it will never be part of, it will become a dead letter. But now then the next part of it is to highlight that, see, that has proven wrong, because governments beginning from under Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru till Prime Minister Narendra Modi have used this provision to impose presidential rule at different states in different point of time for different contexts. So that is there. One thing that this editorial also highlights is the word otherwise. Okay, the word otherwise, give a read of article 356. What this means is, the president can impose its rule on the report of the governor or otherwise. That is where the Andhra Pradesh High Court or anyone else also can give inputs to the president and say the constitutional machinery has broken down. Now, we have discussed the conflict of Andhra Pradesh High Court, the order that was paused or delayed by the Supreme Court. The final hearings will begin in January about it. So whether a High Court can actually discuss the breakdown of constitutional machinery will be determined by the Supreme Court. But it is because of the word otherwise. And as I told you, Sir Faizan Mustafa, he is a pioneer in constitutional law, and therefore he, when he tells you or explains us about certain things, it is something to be worth noted about. Okay, so these things about how different words for legal knowledge can mean different things is something for 356 from the word otherwise. Okay, in general, article 356 gives the power to dismiss. It is under the provisions that creates India a nature of federal state with a central bias. So whenever we say that India is a federal country with a powerful central government, article 356 is one of those provisions. Okay, so it is a worth reading editorial, something you all should read as law students in general. And with this, I will depart for today. Thank you all. If you like the work that we are doing, give the video a thumbs up. And if you are one of those who haven't subscribed to the channel, I highly recommend that you do so. Thank you so much for the day.